Okay, welcome back. Birds of a Feather. It's your girl AJ, the Suburban Princess, here with Eddie B. Co-ed edition, full effect.
So
All right, we're back now, so we can just discuss the fact that the Eagles are done. Season's over. Um,
yes.
we shouldn't be shocked, right?
No, I mean, hey, look, I had very low expectations for this season. They kind of surpassed what I expected. So
We both said this, but in the same fashion, we at least wanted them to compete on Sunday, and look what
yeah,
happened.
yeah. I mean, it just they didn't look great at all,
They didn't do shit.
at all. Like,
They didn't do
it's
shit. They didn't
they're
even look like they even knew where to throw to. Hertz was deer in headlights.
yeah, he was, and the defense was vanilla as hell in the beginning. I mean, it's just Gannon. Hopefully, he gets hired by somebody. Please take
Please.
his asses.
Yeah, Texans, please, someone take him.
Somebody. So
Something.
yeah, I don't care where he
I don't
goes.
care. I don't care either.
Uh,
I
I,
think that game was slow because of that, because it already okay, here's the thing. I'm not gonna lie. After even mid first quarter, I wasn't swayed because I know that they've had slow starts. So part of me was like, all right, whatever. They're getting, they're
yeah,
getting beat already, but that's not shocking. What was shocking to me is coming back from halftime and still not accumulating any points.
still,
That's ridiculous. That's when I knew, I
uh,
was like, this is some bullshit right
I,
here.
I think the fact that they were down against Brady so
Yeah,
early kind of
yeah.
demoralized them a little bit. And that was just too much for them to come back from. It was
And
like,
we need to
especially
say prayers for Jalen too, Rager, because homie was in there way too much.
yeah. Well, he's hopefully we won't see him too much anymore.
I don't know. We knew our front office. Do you really think they're going to get rid of him? Who's gonna want him?
I don't care who wants him. To
I,
be honest with you, yeah, like
I'm just
it's
saying. Okay, yeah. I
it's
mean,
he's not helpful to the team. I mean, maybe he'll be useful in somebody else's program, but he's not helping us.
but can they
I
get
don't
rid of
know.
him? Because that's why I always ask. Because I'm trying to be realistic.
Well,
It's
they
like
can trade him, but who knows what they're gonna get for him? Not much. I mean, I take a case of Gatorade and a pack of towels right now. But
all right, so walk me through without me interrupting. Walk me through how you felt watching the game in general. Like, because I know you said you didn't have high expectations, but how did you feel walking through the game?
well, yeah, like you said, I wanted to see them actually be competitive. But then I'm watching, I'm like, okay, this is not looking good. What are they doing? I didn't see he didn't even I mean the defense wasn't even sending anybody. He's just
Mm-hmm.
at least send one guy in. You don't have to send the house. Brady,
Mm-hmm.
you send the house against Brady, you're screwed. But at least blitz one person or stop playing so far off the receivers. Do
Mm-hmm.
something. Do
Mm-hmm.
something to make it different. And they adjusted they adjusted in the second half, and the defense actually started getting stops.
Yeah.
But it didn't matter because we can't score.
Right.
So now we made a difference. If we would have scored at least one touchdown in the beginning in that first half, you know, which a ball that was clearly underthrown when Devontae was wide open and
Wide
standing in
open.
the end zone.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh my god! I was like, why is he throwing that short? Why didn't he put it to the back of the end zone? That way,
Timing was off.
if he can't catch it, they get another shot at it.
Mm-hmm.
He dropped that thing right in the front. I'm like, oh no! I saw it when it was coming down. I was like, this is not good,
Now,
not good.
timing is obviously the problem too, because by the time he's ready to let go of it, that person's already out of the range of him accurately getting them.
But yeah, I mean, and he's got to adjust. So he doesn't know how because clearly, if he would have timed that ball right, yeah, he would have hit him. But he put too much air under it, and it gave the D back time to get there. And then or he should throw it to the back corner or just throw it towards the back. You got a good
Yeah,
receiver. Let
corner.
him let him go up and get it. You
Yeah,
know,
because
you know.
considering how he caught it last time, he probably would have
Oh,
made
we
that.
know he can go up and get it. He's tall enough.
Yeah,
He's athletic enough, and the kid gets over. I feel so bad for him because imagine the numbers he would put up if Jalen saw him half the time. You
yeah,
know, if Jalen saw him half the time he was open, imagine what numbers he'd have blew Deshaun's record out of the water.
easy. Yeah, he wouldn't have
Easy.
need to go back in that last game. He would have
Yeah,
had it blown it already.
exactly. Yeah, he would have
Yeah,
did it way before then. But hey, I mean that's I guess hindsight, right? I mean,
Did you watch through the whole? Because I mean, I tuned out somewhat, but like I kept it on, but I was like half watching at that
No,
point.
I watched the whole game. I was hoping to see something, but
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't give up on it. I kept watching, and yeah, it was like watching a slow death. You know,
Wait, because was both were both TDs from Boston, or was just one?
no one. Where? No, I thought only one came from him.
I know the first one came from him. That's why I kind of said, well, okay, why didn't y'all use him before? Because the running game was working at one point. They just gave up on it hella quick again.
Yeah, but it
You
wasn't
know?
even about using him. You know, it was about just
I know.
doing things differently, and they didn't do that. So
Yeah,
you
everything
know,
I can dump on Jalen Hurts is just I can say that he can unlearn what he's done this year if he realizes why it's important to get that timing down. Because in my what I'm scared of mentally is him deciding that, just like Carson, where he would decide that this is where they're supposed to be. Like, it's not necessarily my fault. Like, but if you clearly see the timing is wrong, then that can explain a lot of the reasons why you threw over people and why you got sacked when you did. Do you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So I refuse to believe that he's uncoachable, but I do think, and you even agree with me sometimes, that this quarterback as well as the coaches would overthink strategy for
Well,
every
yeah,
game.
yeah.
It
I
would
mean,
feel
and
obvious.
that's what happens sometimes. You got a first year starter. He does overthink things. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what happens. And and I don't think necessarily that it's not all it's not all a timing thing with the receivers. I mean, and I feel bad for some of the receivers because it's not like it's not that they're not doing what they're supposed to.
Right.
And if the quarterback doesn't if he doesn't find them or doesn't let the ball go soon enough, then
Yeah.
that's not their fault. They did their routes. They got
Mhm.
to where they were supposed to. If
Yeah.
he's not hitting them where he's supposed to, then it's like, all right, where do you put the blame?
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, we're wasting a. I, I think another year. I think next year the two of them it'll be better between the two of them because he'll notice that okay, well, this guy's always. I mean, I've never seen a rookie run routes as well before.
He's
I've
he's the only one I've ever seen.
I've
Because
never seen a rookie. He's like mind you, like Jerry, like Marvin
yeah,
Anderson, Marvin Harrison,
Maurice
or
Harrison
Jerry
and
Rice.
Jerry Rice. You're right,
Yeah,
because
how
that's
they
exactly
run.
what they
'Cause
compared him to.
those
Because
guys could always get open,
the
no matter.
professionalism.
Yeah, always get
Absolutely.
open, and he definitely has that work ethic. So I mean, we got a good guy there. So hopefully we can. Just hoping. I mean, I watched. Did you watch the the press conference today?
You know, I refuse to. I was I was even trying to get rid of some of my apps so I wouldn't be flicking to Twitter too much, but I
Yeah,
couldn't resist it. After a while, just the comments from people just let me say I've been a fan long enough to know what they're going to say, which is absolutely nothing.
yeah.
And I know that they don't want to crush, the weak with the weakest links feeling, so they're not going to say anything bad about him. But please don't blow smoke up my ass and act like Jalen Rager is a third. He's a
Yeah.
fifth, if
Well,
anything.
if you notice that he never came out and said he was good.
Right?
If you,
No,
if you
no.
listen to what Sirianni said, he just was
Yeah,
like, "Well," he said, "there's things that he needs to we got to work on with him or whatever. Like he's not.
I
He
heard
wasn't.
I heard something about they said he was a third, and I was like, bullshit. He's not even a third wide receiver. Are you kidding me? Greg Ward's a third wide receiver, not
Yeah.
him. You
Well,
know.
I'm talking about somebody else who mentally checked out. I mean, Ward is also. I don't know. He
Well, they said
hasn't.
he hurt his back because I
Oh,
remember
he's back this year. Okay.
they were showing all the guys. I did see the footage of everybody coming in from the game, and Greg Ward was like walking, and I just know that walk too often where you're like, oh shit, like
Gingerly, like, oh, my back
all
hurts.
gingerly. He had
Yeah.
something sticking out of his padding. So yeah, he's probably feeling what Shake is feeling for the Sixers with his back. So
Mm.
he's probably gonna have a chiropractor for the rest of his life. But
Well, we'll see. I
yeah,
mean, I still think we need to go out and get we need to get a veteran that can be a wide receiver too.
yeah, that's a given.
Or that's what we need. We need a veteran. Don't go out and try and draft a guy. I want a guy
Mm-mm.
with experience to play that second spot.
There's so many possibilities with that, and there's so many guys that are unhappy on their teams, or at least have only a year left in their contract. So I don't see a problem with bringing like an Allen Robinson or bringing um,
Yeah,
even Ayuk from San Francisco or
yeah, somebody with
somebody like that, because I mean that was what was supposed to happen with the guy we got from San Francisco the other year, and it just
yeah, and he just
he
never
never was
played. He
well. Yeah,
never took a snap for us.
yeah,
I
and then he
mean,
opted out.
then he
Yeah,
retired. Then he retired,
right,
right? Yeah.
right. And he opted out for that season for COVID, and so we never really saw what he could do.
And I wasn't.
We got him on an injury though too. So
Yeah, and I wasn't mad at him because he just had a newborn.
yeah,
He was afraid.
and he already had issues with having a baby with his wife, so that was a big deal.
He was afraid to get his kids sick if he started playing. Yeah, so,
I understood it. Yeah,
I get
I
it.
remember reading the story. Yeah.
Yeah.
They went through a long journey, so I kind of couldn't even be mad at him. I'm like, dude, y'all went through so much trouble just to have a healthy baby. You think the last thing he wants to do is play and have COVID and bring it home?
Yeah,
I understood. It was just bad timing, but you're right. I mean, look, if you have hope that they could trade Rager, I'm so used to this organization promising more than they can deliver. So I'm expecting Jalen Rager to be back. He just won't be starting. I think he'll be like a Greg Ward and come off the bench when somebody goes down. I expect someone like Allen Robinson or somebody to be available, or even Calvin Ridley from the Falcons, so that Devonta can get separation a lot more and have more and kind of the other guy be the decoy.
Yeah, we need another threat. Yeah.
Right. So we need somebody who's capable, because obviously Devonta is another level than all of the wide receivers. Clearly, he is the best of the pack. So there's no reason why he shouldn't be one, and 2 should be the veteran, and then 3 and 4 should be anybody else who's left on this.
And I think Quez Watkins should still be here.
Oh yeah, Quez, of course, because Quez is always good on the sidelines. Like when they throw him out on the edge, he's very
he's a good either third or fourth receiver to come in.
Yeah, I didn't see any issues. I heard some people kind of balking about Quez. I'm like, don't you even dare, because that boy was available when he could be.
Yeah, he gets over the top.
Yeah.
So
if anything, he needs to signal himself out now, because that's the problem between him and Rager. Was people kept thinking him and Rager were the same person. The
numbers are too close together.
Every time they called, they said it's Rager. Oh no, excuse me, Watkins. I'm like, yeah, don't get that twisted.
Yeah, no, he's like, God damn it, like,
I'm sorry, and it must be hard, because I'm sure as behind the scenes, like I was actually, and I hate to say it, but I was happy to see Devonta yelling at Rager on the sidelines at one point, because they had never shown any friction with this team for the longest time, and I said I knew eventually Devonta was going to get pissed off, because I'm like, you can't tell me he's not getting hot out there running around like an idiot and not getting the ball. So it's a shame, because partially the reason this hurts us to realize you're giving up on stuff too easily. As soon as he even moved on the first series, I said, why are you going to the right when there was a lane for you to run? Like if you weren't going to give it to Miles when you faked it, that lane was open as soon as he went.
Honestly, I think he should have gave it to Miles, because
he should have.
Miles could outran that guy.
Yes.
I mean,
and that's
the overthinking part again.
That's my point. Like they did 2 runs successfully, so when they did that, I'm like, oh, okay, well then do that again. I didn't think it was hard.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have thought they would have went for it the third time if they.
He had a couple good runs, and they just stopped running it.
And they just stopped. So. I mean, they brought him back a couple times, but you can tell like Miles was getting more pissed, because the few times he was able to get free when they decided to go to him, it was like he couldn't go far. And
I know he's like, I'm playing with a broken hand. You guys won't give me the ball. Come on, let's go.
Right. Well, I was against him even playing, because I thought to myself, don't be a hero, because this is not a game for you to be a hero
and mess up next season, because we still have him on a contract for 1 more year.
Yeah, and that's why.
So.
And I honestly am not feeling confident with him. I wouldn't be shocked if next year they decided to trade or something for him, because I just don't feel like he's a fit for this particular coaching staff. Like I just don't feel like they like him. That's why I think he's never been used all the time, personally.
I don't know if that's the case, but I just think that with too many people just getting involved in the whole like, oh well, what the game plan was, and I think Sirianni had too many people in his ears about what he's supposed to do.
I mean, that's clearly obvious, but I think even when they weren't here, we were always talking about Miles wasn't being used enough. So that's why I'm wondering, is someone, even if it's a new staff, I'm just clearly starting to think that they just don't have that faith to keep the ball in Miles' hands the whole time, and that's what's irking me.
Well, we're going to see him for 1 more year probably, and then hopefully we draft the. I know you said you want to talk about the draft a little bit too. But,
no, yeah, I do, because I'm just the only reason why I'm even saying though realistically, because I don't have a problem with Miles, but I think what irks me is I feel like even he feels a little cheated in what he could be doing compared to what he did. So that's why I'm like, is it better to find a team that gives him the ball more often? Because that wouldn't shock me if he left either.
Yeah, he's a scat, but he's one of those guys that he runs. He has to run a lot.
Yeah,
he runs a lot, and that's those guys eventually they break one.
But that's the problem, because you got 3 running backs that need that same amount of time to get started. Jordan Howard too, although Jordan Howard I think takes off more.
Jordan Howard doesn't really. He's a little more physical runner than.
Yeah, but you
then
never have a
I'm
problem with
saying,
him. Like, when he gets the ball because he goes straight up for some reason. So for some reason,
yeah,
he has better vision than all three of them. But even Boston can be used on the outside and on short runs into the end zone. So that's why I think
yeah.
Boston should stay because I think he helps in the anchor part of a game. But I just feel like Miles is either not able to get the same chemistry right away, or if he can get a team
Well,
that really values his running ability, I wouldn't be shocked if he doesn't stay with them after next year.
I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see Jordan Howard next year. You know,
Yeah, which is so frustrating because I feel like every time we get him, he gets hurt or
yeah,
he has to
and
compete with
and I
other.
think I think they can draft a runner like him in
Hmm.
the second round, like get some
It's a
big,
shame.
yeah.
It's a
I mean,
shame
he's
because
getting
I see
older.
him
He's
very
getting a lot of
quickly.
miles on him, and I
Yeah, and
like
he's
him.
had,
I like him, but he's had like again the stinger issues
but that's my point. And so
again,
you
and
don't know if you're
like
affecting his neuro makeup. Like maybe he's just trying to get
yeah,
through the season, but you don't want to create any more damage for him. But I don't
yeah,
know. I mean, that's a toss up too because I feel like that's purely on him if he decides to retire or if he decides to just gut it out for one more season. I wouldn't
yeah,
be mad if he came back, but I'm
yeah.
with you. They definitely need a running back if they draft
Well,
anybody.
they're gonna have to. I mean, hopefully it's in the second round, and not please do not
Yeah.
draft a running back in the
Yeah,
first round.
we need a good big bruiser who can break tackles. That's the
Yeah,
bit bottom line.
I mean, I would love to get that kid from Georgia, but he's not going to be
Hey,
around. He's
you
not
ain't
going to
gonna
be
say
around.
nothing. Anybody from the South, I don't care what
Well,
school.
I'll take anybody from the SEC because those guys.
Whatever. That's what I'm talking about.
I'm
Just
like,
whatever is from that region, please. We need to fill our roster with I tweeted, I said I want big meaty boys on the O line as well as because obviously at this point now the rumor is that Brandon Brooks is going to retire, but then they're saying they might be able to still use him.
well,
I
you
don't
know
know what's
what?
going
I
on.
mean, I think Stoutland has done a good job
Yeah,
with
no,
these
of course.
guys.
Of
Great
course.
job with these guys. And I think I mean, look at Dickerson. Everybody was so afraid of
Yeah, I was.
Dickerson,
I
and
was.
look at Dickerson.
Yeah,
I
no,
mean,
he proved us wrong.
him and I love the relationship between him and Mulata.
Yeah, I like it too.
He's
Yeah.
like Landon, Landon.
Yes.
Did you see the video I sent you? He's
Yes.
like yelling for Landon. He's like Landon, where you
Yes.
at? Where you at? He's like buckle me up, brother. Where you? At?
Yeah.
I'm like,
What does he scream? He says, Landon!
yeah,
Landon!
two
Waiting
of
for
them are
him to snap him in.
hilarious. Hey,
Yeah,
they
they're gonna
anchored
be
that
good.
side well with the two of them. I mean,
Well, less
and
injuries
and it's
compared to the
cheap,
prior
and it's
year.
cheap too.
Right.
It's not an expensive side of the line, but you're getting production. So
I'm not gonna lie, we always, as soon as we heard he had that injury, did you want to sign him right away? Like, because I heard all them ACL shit, and I was like, why are we getting somebody injured with ACLs? Like, what is the point of that?
yeah, I
You
mean
know what I mean?
it's
Because of what happened prior with the other dude, Sydney. He had a
mm,
lot of he had just busted his. So why would you trust somebody who's already injured to
yeah.
work out for us, especially with our luck with injuries? So that's why I'm saying that's what the drama carried
Well,
on with Landon. But
it
he
was
proved everybody wrong.
it
He was
was
fine.
it was a very I mean because we drafted him in what second round, third round
I feel like it was third.
because he was a steal because he was supposed to go earlier.
Yeah.
You
But
know, and
those injuries, yeah.
a lot of people were afraid, but
Hmm.
it was a very it was low risk, high reward pick. You know,
Yeah, and he was a Bama boy too, right?
yeah,
I think he was because you know how
yeah,
everybody's like,
he was out of Bama, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So
I mean,
that's
and
why I
the
say
kid,
give us
I
more of these
mean,
meat-fed fat boys. We need
the
more fat
guy,
boys.
he's like 6'8", like what is he 6'8",
Yes,
right? Yeah,
I want hefty
I was
fat boys.
I'm watching the side of the line, him and Mulata standing there. I'm like, oh my god,
Well,
the two
Mulata
of
scared
them.
the shit out of me. Ain't nobody scared me since Runyon, and Mulata's damn near close.
I mean,
He's up there. I mean, if he keeps himself lean and mean, and he actually pancakes more than one person next season, they're gonna all die.
yeah,
God, you know what I'm saying? Like, God forbid his
yeah.
ankle, bothers him again next season. He's gonna kill people for real because now he knows what he's capable of. And I remember meeting him. I remember telling you a story. I met him one time
Or
going my
it's
way home.
oh nice.
He's the nicest guy. He was out with his kids.
That's what they say about him. They say he's the
He's very
nicest
sweet,
guy. Like he's
nicest
a
guy.
gentle giant. They say so.
Yeah, I think he was feeling low because at that time that was around the time where
His
people were
back
trying to
when his
say that he
back was
wasn't
messing up.
good. Yeah,
Yeah,
back, and
he
then
had a back issue. Yeah, in, like the
yeah,
first
but they
year.
were trying to say like he wasn't working out. The rumors were, and so I think
Hey,
I just
for
try to encourage him.
for a guy who didn't know football,
I mean, come on.
I mean, he look how he's playing for a guy who never took a football snap in his life.
That's the only time that I can honestly
Uh,
applaud Howie and whoever got him because I'll say that was worth a project because for him to pander out in 3 seasons is pretty damn good. And him now
hmm
knowing what he's capable of, like mentally, that's good for his ego because
Yeah,
next year you don't have to worry about that side,
Yeah.
And so
Well,
now the issue is,
fortunately,
are they going to trade Dillard finally?
well, if we don't
Is
need him, I
Dillard,
think we should. Team,
well, at this point, yeah,
there's going to be a team that needs him. We don't need
yeah,
him off the bench. We got good guys off the bench. We don't need him. I
yeah.
think
No, it's
I
good.
think we can get some good draft capital for him. Just and I think I'm hoping we're gonna have to draft a center
I would, because
because
I don't think Kelsey's coming back. I don't think
I
there's a reason
mean
for him to come back
he's
this
gonna
year.
retire. He's gonna retire. So if he doesn't retire this year, he's definitely retiring next year. If he doesn't give it one more year, he's gone after this.
I didn't think he was going to come back this year, honestly. And
Yeah,
seeing how they may need another year to get this team totally on
because
sync,
I mean,
I would retire.
Herbig. I like Herbig, but as
He's
he
not
needs
retiring.
he needs more practice as a center
Yeah.
because you can see all the bad snaps he did when he was
Oh yeah, he almost killed.
on center.
He was over. He was
I mean,
between his legs with
he's
hurts
over his head, yeah. Until he finally settled down, I'm like, oh my god, how long is that
Yeah,
gonna take?
it was scary. But Hurts, you could tell, talk to him on the sidelines, like it's okay, like it's all right, And he was
Yeah.
trying to calm him down, like so it was good. But you're right. I want a center too that's a little heavier because even though Kelsey's amazing because he could get up so
Well,
quick.
that's why they look kind of like Herbig, because Herbig is giant.
Yeah, you do need somebody heavier.
He's like Hank Fraley was. Remember
yeah,
Hank Fraley?
yeah. Hank
This
Fraley,
big
I
old
remember.
body just right there.
Yep.
You can't even get around him.
Yeah, you need a meatball. That's what I'm saying. I'm gonna start making signs. I'm just bring more fat boys to Philly. We need yes to the fat boys. We want all the fat boys. Like we want the fat boys to Philly
Yeah.
because I want players that look intimidating in person. Like I think we should start trying to scare people. Like we need all them Georgia boys. Like you said, SEC, whatever Eagles, like get the fattest human beings you can get in your life. Like even who's that dude that just played the championship that everybody was like, look at that Jordan dude. His jersey was smaller than him.
No, was it 99 from
Yes.
yeah, from
I think it
the
was
Bulldogs.
Georgia, wasn't it?
Was the Bulldogs, yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm looking at him, I'm like, oh my god, what do you
I
feed
want
this
that
guy?
mother father.
Like, what do you feed him? And anything he wants, right?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I mean, nobody will fuck with him. And I know whoever's going to get him is going to be obviously in the top 10, but I think that we deserve a chance to get a fat boy. Like we need fat boys from the South. Like
And
I'm
another
not even
guy,
playing with you.
and that other guy, the other big guy in the defensive line in 99.
Mm-hmm.
He's giant too.
Yeah, we need defense. We need pass rushers, obviously.
And you
Because
see
even if Josh Sweat stays,
you see his big ass crying on the sideline because he won. He's like, I was like,
I don't even care. You got to be in the national
hey,
spotlight.
no, I was like, I was happy for him.
Yeah, every guy who got a little shine, even if they lost in that game, got a little more shine. I definitely feel more confident that at least if the Eagles don't do any last minute bullshit with the 3 picks, even if they just trade one, fine, but just leave the 2 in the first round because you need to get defensive help. And I think that's more important than anything right now.
I'm just going to say this, and I want us to do something that we never do.
Yeah.
I want us to
draft
draft a
linebacker. Yes,
please.
I agree.
Draft a linebacker.
I'm not lying with you because the 4th and John guys said that they're going to Vegas. I'm swear as soon as we're gonna do another live thing if you're game because I think that was fun when we did it. We'll just do it for the first round. But I really feel like we should literally like that's the moment like you and me should just be like just doing any kind of like any kind of cheer or
yeah,
rub your nipples, something.
Burn some sage. I don't know.
Something. I literally might. I swear. Because I'm just like, please shock the world and just undo what everybody knows about this organization.
Do that bad juju and draft the linebacker.
We're trying to speak the Dean kid into existence. Get the Dean kid. And I forget his first name, but it's Dean, something with an N, Dean, but get him.
Yeah, because
that's the main focus.
That's because I mean Edwards did great, but
yeah,
you need some help.
Well, and Alex doesn't always help. I mean, Alex is good for special teams, but he's not gonna be the one. I mean, TJ really technically beat him out of any, competition they had. But Alex comes in handy in the end, but not
as good as Alex was the year before. He was trash this year. I'm sorry.
Oh no, he definitely didn't prove anything this year. I mean, last year was the year to start talking about him, but he couldn't live up to that promise because TJ got the better angle.
Yeah, he seems out of place all the time. He just doesn't.
Yeah, he got turned around a lot. So
and then he started when who's the kid that got injured? Taylor.
Davion Taylor. Yeah.
Davion Taylor. Yeah. I think the two of them together were good.
Yeah, they were.
With the two of them out there, it kind of took some of the pressure off Singleton, so he looked better. He was able to not be out of position and maybe
And that's what
Yeah,
scares me about
whatever.
them not getting a linebacker because they may think like, well, once Davion's healthy, I'm like, that's a problem. Homeboy's been
No.
trying to be healthy since they got him.
Can you imagine if we can get a good one and we get and keep
That's
Taylor?
my point. Yeah.
I'll take Taylor, Edwards, and whoever we draft
And
out
whoever
there.
we draft. Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Like after last year's draft, you should learn after Michael Parsons. Like, please just jump on a top linebacker because Micah should have been here. In my eyes. That kid was a warrior.
That was my dream.
Yeah, he was a warrior. He's the only one for me that I really feel like they messed up.
Linebacker out of Penn State. I was like, oh God, please.
I know it's so. I mean, it's so cliche too to assume that every Penn Stater is going to come to the Eagles, or Steelers. But I mean, I feel like he's a waste. I feel like he's a waste in Dallas. Personally.
Well, we just know that Penn State has a reputation for putting out good linebackers, and I was like, please get this kid.
I know. I still wish he had gotten that guy a ways back. That
remember Pulowski?
Yes.
Yeah, Pulowski was a monster.
I wanted him. Yeah, he was. But that's what I'm saying. You're right. I mean, if there's anybody to tap, it's Penn State. So it's like, don't sleep on a chance to get somebody who's decent, even if they're not a Penn Stater. But Micah's definitely going to haunt them on top of us.
He's one of those. Well, he's one of those guys. He's a generational player. Like he's he's one of those guys that make for his generation, his position. He is like going to be one of those guys that's just so good. Put up amazing numbers. I think we got one in Smith too. I think Smith is going to be a generational player. Devonta. He's one of those kids. Like he's going to be for a generation good.
If he doesn't get tired of our bullshit and decide to trade himself and just be like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. They're just wasting my time.
He seems all in because I like the fact that he showed that he was upset because that's good.
I like it. I loved it. I want more of that shit. Stop being all like trying to be unified. You're all pissed on the sidelines. Just say it. Like, what the fuck are we doing right now? We're supposed to be winning. Like, I want more of that. The fact that they even caught that, I said, is this the first time somebody's been mad on the sidelines? You telling me all season ain't nobody been frustrated? Like, I've never seen any of that footage rolled until that game. I guess because the cameraman got bored because they were getting their ass whooped so bad. They're like, let me just see if there's any drama on this side.
Yeah, that's definitely a good idea. Let's definitely do the drafting again.
Yeah, the draft is going to be in Vegas this time because it wasn't able to happen 2 seasons ago.
It was funny. We had our friends on there too, like watching at the same time.
I enjoyed it. I mean, I'll try to make sure I put out word a little sooner once I know exactly the date. But because that was a last minute thing. But no, it's going to be in Vegas, and like I said, the 4th and John guys are kind of buzzing around saying that they might go there. Which I mean, that's a whole nother level. I'm like, I'm good with that. I don't need to be around a draft because once it's long, it's like people won't leave, and then I'm going to be like, I'm bored. Like, I don't want to linger for a draft. Like, I'm mad I even watch it as much as I do off and on, even when the Eagles aren't picking. Like, sometimes I'll be like, just turn it off. But then I'm so curious.
I always like to see where people go. So,
yeah. I mean, we don't expect a quarterback, but if Howard decides to play himself and try to aim for Pickett for whatever reason, I really hope he doesn't because,
there's nobody coming out that's
not worth hollering at.
That's going to change your franchise. And that's just how I feel about this quarterback class. I don't see anybody's going to change the franchise.
Well, that's what everyone's saying.
Of any team.
But we also don't trust Howie because he gets trigger happy with the day of. And I understand drafts sometimes don't shake out the way your plan says. Yeah. But I also don't want you to be stupid because last year y'all came out looking like smart for once by getting Devonta first, and most of those guys from the draft have pandered out for the most part. So it's like try to keep a winning streak and actually get stuff that makes freaking sense.
That was a pretty successful draft last year, surprisingly.
Compared to what it's been, yes, it was. Like I said, like you brought up, Landon proved me wrong. Like I thought he was going to be a problem, and he literally kept himself in there for the most part. I mean, if anything, the most person that was in and out of the lineup mostly was Lane, for obvious personal reasons. But at the end of the day, it's like we pretty much had a solid O-line. It was the D-line that was the problem. So now the question remains: is Fletch just going to stay and run out his contract, or are they going to try to trade him? Which I don't see they could because they gave him a lot of money. I don't see the point.
Well, the D-line, I think they can easily improve on because, the D-line D-line didn't even play that bad. It was the fact that they weren't giving them any help. They weren't trying any different schemes. That's Gannon. That's all Gannon.
It's all Gannon.
They had the talent. I mean,
they were Swiss cheese though majority of the year. I mean, let's be honest. Everybody got yards on them up the middle. That's the problem. They need to plug that hole.
But AJ, that pulls back to D-line. Like, who's really responsible for those gaps are the linebackers. The
Oh,
linebackers are
well,
responsible for those
okay.
gaps. That's why.
Yeah.
Remember we had Jeremiah Trotter. We never had any problems with the gaps. He knew where to meet.
He
Trotter
knew
knew where
where
to
they were
go.
coming. Yeah.
Trotter was like, "All right, I got this gap covered. I got this gap covered." I'm like,
You're right.
you
You're
know what I
right.
mean?
I stand corrected.
It's mostly they're supposed to cause issues up front and break havoc, but you need somebody to cover those gaps, get those gaps covered when they see the guy coming through. They got to stop him. And occasionally, yeah, you do see the linemen do get over and
Yeah.
stop them, but they're making tackles with somebody on them.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
That's why
hopefully,
I think Fletch and Avery got. Although sometimes every now and then it was nice to see someone other than Fletch getting it. I know Fletch didn't get a lot of sacks this year, but it was
yeah, but
good
he
to see
called,
other guys get in
yeah,
there.
yeah,
Yeah.
and he was causing problems up front too. And I think losing also not having BG made it a
Yeah,
little difficult too.
that's the bottom line. That's why I got nervous as soon as he went down.
That screwed up the rotation. I mean, imagine they still had him in that rotation this year,
Well, yeah, because
of
at
him,
least 3 of
Sweat.
those games wouldn't have been losses had he still been in there. I think
Yeah,
they would have had
him,
a somewhat
Sweat,
decent
and
record.
yeah, the rotation would have been nice.
I mean, somewhere along the line, Gannon realized that he was holding Sweat back, so it was good to see Sweat get in there.
We would have saw Les Barnett,
right. Bye, because he's not coming back.
Yeah, well,
there's no reason to keep him. He's obviously a liability, unfortunately.
Yeah,
he had his brilliant showing in the Super Bowl, and that was it. That was as good as it got.
Well, he had a good year that year too. The Super Bowl year.
Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like just like Corey did, like those same guys petered out, as the years went on. Now Corey's part of the enemy troop now, which ain't going nowhere. So I'm sure he's back in Jersey. Shout out
that was that game.
That game.
Man, I just can't believe that they had their chance and they
fucked it up because didn't know the rule, because now it comes out that Dak should have gave the ref the ball, and that probably would have helped him line it up faster.
And well, he shouldn't have lined the guys up. He should have do what every other team does. They let the ref through. They don't try and line up and block the ref from getting to the ball.
And then the fact that he was speaking so confidently in the presser when I heard the bits, I said, "Negro, you are wrong."
Did you see he put a letter out apologizing?
Oh, several tweets. And I said, dude, stop talking. We get it.
Yeah.
I'm sure he got that fine emailed to him directly, like, bitch, you owe this amount of money. So you better
bad mouth and arrest when you made the mistake.
When you made the mistake because you didn't know the rule. Like, that's so stupid. That's what's embarrassing.
And what he should have did, I don't understand why he didn't go down sooner.
Yeah.
When he was running. Once he got closer, he got that first, he should have just slid, got up, gave the ball him and clocked it, and then they would have had some time left.
Well, that's what they said. Tony Romo, being a broadcaster, was like, dramatic irony. It was just like, this motherfucker just messed up with the season. One stupid move.
He knows he's been there. Remember the bad hold? Remember the bad hold on the field goal from?
Yes, and how he flipped over. I'll never forget that slow mo when they showed that back. I said, "Oh my god, he landed on his head." And you can tell he just sit there, just be like, "I just want to die. Like I just want to die." But it's what, Cowboys are sitting home. There's a lot of teams sitting home that probably shouldn't be. I feel bad for the Colts. Because having that great running back and then have Carson kind of like be not a factor in their wins, or he was a factor in their losses, but it just shows me that it doesn't really matter. It comes right down to the actual game at the moment that matters, as opposed to the whole season. You can have a great record, but if you can't perform in that key moment, and their team, not even just Carson, I shouldn't even put on them, everybody folded in that game.
Well,
and I'm like, that's ridiculous.
The Colts defense was pretty suspect.
They were so suspect. And I'm like, how y'all going to do that after all season? You know what I mean? Like, y'all just folded. And Carson didn't help, and then they should have ran the hell out of Taylor like they had been doing, but he wasn't having success. So they had to make up a lot of time, which, God forbid, you put a lot of pressure on Carson to throw the ball, and it's not going to work because he's going to either throw pick or throw over people's heads, because he's just not good under pressure, which is so weird to say, but the reality is he's a mid quarterback. It's just kind of obvious now,
Yeah,
we didn't really lose anything by him leaving.
Hey, you know what? We got the best year out of him.
We sure enough did, and that's why I say, like, that's the one thing I can't be putting dirt on his name too much, because I said if it wasn't for him having that good streak before he got hurt, we would have never saw postseason. So That's where he was good. And so that's why I say I don't totally believe he's a fuck up, but I just believe that there are issues mentally
Yeah,
that he needs to get over in order to get himself a true championship.
I think once he got hurt so many times, it just fucked with his head.
But I also do think he has the same thing as Hurts. Like I think they want certain plays to work, and it's like, dude, it's not working. Like, stop throwing the ball there. Clearly, the person's not there. Like, I swear Hurts is trying to throw, receivers, and they're like, what are you doing? Like, I was there 2 seconds ago. You're late, and Carson did the same thing. Sometimes I would be sitting there going, where are you going? Like, so I just think there's sometimes, and you can be overcoached. Like, I think Hurts being a coach's kid is probably conflicting with having a coach who's thinking of coaching you. And you know what I mean? There's a lot of stuff in his head too. So even my sister, when she came with me to that Chiefs game, it's like, you saw it. Like there were moments my sister was like, what is he doing? She's like, oh my God, he's thinking too, like he was hesitating, doing the whole dance. And you want to be like, throw the ball, Hurts.
Yeah. Well, whenever they switched it up a little bit and had the guy work with him.
Yeah.
Like that, he started playing better.
But they also held him down, like he didn't throw as much. That's why.
Yeah,
well, that's what they had to do to Carson. They had to shut him down.
That's what you got. Well, that's what you got to do. Sometimes you got to protect him from himself.
But I mean, yeah, you're right. You got to save him from himself, but you can only go so long like that in the NFL, though, because at some point you're going to be forced because the running game's not going to work, and they're going to figure you out. So then, what do? You just got to take a flyer on them and just say, "Let it go. Just be careful."
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So I feel bad for Frank Reich though, because I feel like he has a huge decision that he knows he has to do, but part of him is going to feel loyal to Carson and keep him there. But
they got too much. They have too much money invested in him to let him not.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Come back this year,
right?
And that's the parts their hands are tied with. It's like,
because the media is just going to sit there and act like it's so easy to just trade him and get him out of there. But I'm like, no, you don't understand. He wouldn't have left the Eagles if he didn't have Frank right there. He probably would have still been here because where else is he going to go? He's not going to want to start somewhere totally new. He's 28. Yeah. He's already older.
Yeah, you're right. Some people always say, "Oh, well, just get rid of him." Like, I mean, when you got a guy set to make $13 million a year, you can't just get rid of him. Yeah,
it doesn't work humble enough to get a salary renegotiation.
It doesn't work that way. It's a team, but it's also a business too.
But that's why I say the good thing is that he trusts Frank Reich, that maybe he can kind of weave in, like, may have to shave your salary a little bit because you haven't proven yourself a winner. Or
but he's not going to take the cut. I don't think he will. I don't think he's going to take a salary
at this point in his career. He should, because I mean, where the fuck else you going to go?
Because he figured,
find a veteran. I guarantee you, they're going to find a veteran.
Oh yeah, if he gets out of there, they pay him. He doesn't have to take a cut because he can be like, all right, well, I'm going to get my money, and somebody will pay him to come on the team, even if it has a second. You know what I mean?
I think people are so obsessed with trying to believe that Derek Carr, might be the new shiny object to trade for because he's just good enough. I said, first of all, don't bring that motherfucker here because I don't want no Derek Carr here. Aaron Rodgers ain't coming anyway, so let's stop that shit.
I don't want a quarterback to wear his eyeshadow. Sorry. I was kidding.
They say eyeliner. I know.
Yeah, eyeliner.
I do wonder if it was eyeliner, but whatever. The point is,
unless it is a woman. If it is a woman, yeah, I'll take her. But yeah, Derek Carr.
I mean, out of all the guys that keep talking about, I don't like the idea of even Russell Wilson being here, but I like his leadership quality, and that's about it. But is Jalen Hurts willing to sit back, or is he going to want to leave? If Russell,
if they made that move, they're trading him.
Yeah, that's right now. I agree. He's not going to sit there and wait.
It's not even about him sitting and waiting. They're going to trade him because they can get something for him.
Right.
Because I mean, AJ, to be honest, look at the league right now. There's not a lot of good quarterbacks at all.
But that's why I say, like, all those people who want Hurts out of here, I'm like, realistically, if they keep telling you the quarterback class is weak, why do you think they're going to get rid of Hurts?
Unless they have
somebody.
Yeah, I mean, there's not that many good QBs in the league, and there's not that many good QBs coming out right now. So I say you keep riding the horse that you got.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, you're right. Yeah. And if you have to also assume some of these vets may not want to come here either. Yeah. You have to realize, like, Eagles don't have that great enough reputation at this point. They're 6-7 years away now from a Super Bowl. Do you really think people like Russell Wilson are going to want to risk the chance they may or may not get success with this team because they don't know if everything's on the right page? Like, I don't want to waste my last year or two with a team who's kind of up in the air.
You're not sure how many you got left, Like,
true, but You know what I'm saying? Like that's the thing that people have to realize too. You assume that these vets want to come here, first of all.
Yeah.
Like ain't nothing about Philly shiny and new right now, in my opinion. So unless we literally were one play away from like the conference championship, maybe. But the
Yeah.
way they got embarrassed on
Or
Sunday.
if we didn't have so many holes in our team to begin with.
Right. Holes.
Yeah.
And that's my point. That's why quarterback to me this year is to me very obvious, not a
It just should
factor.
be very low.
Very
I mean,
low.
you want to draft a guy that you can develop for a number 2 spot, like
Right.
down, like late in the
line.
draft, then do it.
Mhm.
But I'm not for first 3 rounds. Do not pick a QB, please.
Yeah, our
You
defense
know?
was the main issue and the main suspect besides the quarterback. And quarterback, honestly, at this point, if Howie's coming out and saying, even though I still don't believe him, but he's saying that
Well, I
Jalen
said the
Hurts is
same thing
gonna
about
start.
Carson. So I mean, that's whatever.
This is why I say don't have faith in that because that probably won't mean shit in May or June. So we don't know what's going to happen. But the
Yeah.
reality of the situation is this could very much look like a different team next year, even if it has some of the same parts. It just may have different motors, and that might be a good thing.
Yeah.
It may not be a wait and see. So I don't know. The draft this year could mean a lot. It could mean not jack shit. But I know one thing. I'm excited just to see how they're going to do it because they were supposed to have this in Vegas 2 seasons ago.
Mhm.
And so I'm wondering if they're going to try to put out all the stops considering COVID is still a problem, you know, and trying to keep everybody segregated.
But the one thing I do hope that we see is what we saw last year in the draft. Did you notice that Laurie wasn't there that much? You didn't see a lot. You didn't see a lot of Jeff Laurie, like in the draft.
You only saw it in that one shot in the war room when you know everybody was saying how he got embarrassed by that one guy because he didn't give him a pound right away. That was the only time you saw Laurie.
But you can
No,
see
you're right.
you can see Laurie wasn't involved that much, which I love. Keep it that way.
Yeah, he doesn't need to be out there. It's mostly Howie's thing anyway because he has to kind of win back the trust because he knows these 2 seasons are very important for him to be able to stay. Because I personally, I'm like, Mike Mayock got fired. I would like Mike Mayock to come here and be a GM. Just me.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
Take him.
He's a veteran.
And hopefully we can get a good coordinator, defensive coordinator. If someone will please, God, let somebody hire him so we can get him out there.
What is Brian Flores? Everybody was talking about he could be a D coordinator. Was he always a defensive guy first before he became a head coach? Is that why people are saying that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because I wouldn't mind him either if he was a D coordinator, if he was willing to work with the team.
I wouldn't mind him, but I would love to see him get a chance as another head coach.
No, absolutely. I'm just saying, if that was a realistic thing, like, and he's willing to not be a head coach again just for a little bit, that would be awesome. I would love some kind of sass on here.
Yeah, we need somebody with some experience at that position. So
yeah, we need somebody to give because most of these dudes have a lot of potential, especially on the defense, because the way they started out on game 1, even though after that it's folded.
Well,
game 1 was like a highlight reel just for the whole damn season. You know what I mean? It never happened again, but it was the best chemistry they'd had.
And they're young.
Yeah, it can only go up from here.
Yeah,
so it can only go up from here. So let's just pray and hope that this time away from football is a good thing. But I ain't gonna lie, I'm dying to see if the Bengals go all the way because they, to me, are a very exciting story. And then the Buffalo Bills I always told you, once my Ravens were out, Buffalo is my next team to root for.
Yeah.
There's a lot of green cats that can go through and knock old ass Brady out, or knock, somebody else out.
Hey, look, don't be surprised if he doesn't make it. The Rams look good.
Look, if they look the way they did on the Cardinals, as much as I was so mad that they lost again, because I said these motherfuckers lost 4 in a row, you would think it would be more meaningful for them to win, but they had no answer. Yeah. Kyler just embarrassed himself. But anyway, I felt bad for Zach Ertz, but whatever. But yeah, you're right. I would not be shocked if Brady doesn't make it. And I'm hoping that Matt Stafford has the same type of day he did on that last game because he can be streaky too.
Yeah.
It will be very important for him to keep that streak going.
Well, he deserves it after being in hell for so many years, being in Detroit. So
years penance,
playing in Detroit.
He did his penance in Detroit. I think he's earned himself a championship attempt, because
we know he was never going to see it with the Lions. So
never. And if for some weird reason this coach in Detroit turns it around for Detroit next year where they win more than like 5 games, then I'll be happy for them just for that. But it is a dumpster fire in Detroit. So
I think that stadium is built on Indian burial ground or something. So
they're cursing them because they're on their ancestors.
Yeah.
Some bullshit's going down there. But anyway, so I definitely will still be tuning in to football for the remainder of the playoffs. But
me too.
I think the most exciting thing is to see if some of these greats finally get knocked off their ass. Like, because I would not be shocked if Brady and them lost. because they're just getting by. Because even though the Eagles got their ass whipped, there were some players that had just gotten back from injury and stuff that could have went in a whole nother way had the Eagles showed up.
Yeah.
If they had been smart about it. But anything can happen. I mean, because the Rams can run up on them and be up in Tom's grill so many times to get tired of throwing the ball.
I mean, that line
they're fierce.
That line is nasty.
Yeah, Aaron Donald could pop him in the face at least once.
And they got a lot of hurt players on that offensive line too.
Yeah, they do, because clearly
they're all banged up. Even if they play, they're all banged up though.
They're all banged up. That's why I thought maybe the Eagles might have had a shot, because I kind of thought they have kind of a shaky O-line. Like they might be able to just cause a little havoc, but they didn't take advantage. But Aaron Donald and all them dudes ain't no joke. And you get Tom Brady uncomfortable and Jalen Ramsey get a pick, it's over. Because that Negro won't shut up. Jalen Ramsey, all he wants is one pick from Brady, and homie is going to be talking forever.
Oh, if he gets that pick from Brady, you will never hear it. You will never hear the end.
Even if they go out in the next round, he's going to keep talking shit. I got picked off.
I got you,
bitch. And then of course Green Bay. We'll see how Aaron Rodgers' COVID toe lasts for this last round. I personally don't think he's going to leave Green Bay. I think if he leaves, he's probably going to retire, because I don't see him getting the same graces anywhere else if he leaves.
Yeah, I don't see it happening.
I mean, when you run that shit, why would you leave? You know what I mean? You pretty much run that damn. Even if you didn't like the front office, you pretty much had your way all year.
I mean, he probably has his own office there.
But that's my point. Like, why would you go somewhere totally new just because you already able to prove that they could have your back even when you didn't like them? So if you came back to that, I'm not leaving. I'm gonna run this till I literally can't run anymore.
Pretty much. I mean,
pretty much, But we'll see what happens, because it'll be interesting. But I say go Joe Burrow and go. Who's the other team I just said? Oh, go Josh Allen, because they're going to be what I'll be looking for this weekend coming. But in the meantime, Ed, thank you for letting me vent and venting with me. You're always my rationale, especially around the time of the draft when it's like, I want some action. You would just be like, well, realistically, they can't trade him. But I'm just like, but he should trade him.
But
I'm not shocked if Rager comes back. I just don't want that bitch on the field first. I want him sitting on the sidelines watching until he has to be used.
Low on the depth chart.
Low. Yeah. All right, so Birds of a Feather, Co-ed edition, 2022. We're going to just ride the rest of the season out, minus our Eagles. Fly, Eagles, fly. They're going down south for the winter. And we'll talk later. Most likely I'll be doing a little bit more audio stuff. As a female, I wanted to do some other snippets for myself. So you may be seeing us here. You may be listening to us on the audio. So just be prepared either way. We're out. Birds of a Feather, Co-ed edition. Peace out, Eddie.